Thank you for choosing to watch this video. My name is Justin Pineda, and for today, we will be talking about protecting security assets. So I divided it into two parts that both fall under the asset security domain of the CISSP exam. For the things to talk about, there are four topics that we will discuss: identifying, classifying assets, data classifications, data states, and handling information and assets. So let's start. There are different ways to show the data lifecycle depending on the framework or even the organization that you use as reference. The terms may differ too, but basically it starts with collection, then storage, processing, usage up to destruction. And the goal is to be able to secure the data in every phase of the data lifecycle. There are two examples on the screen. The first one is from the GDPR, and the other is from a research paper on social media data protection. So, in identifying and classifying data, similar to risk management, we need to prioritize which data we need to provide the best security control. So we've listed three types of data. The first one is the personally identifiable information, or the PII. The second is the protected health information, and the third one is proprietary data. So most of the time, these types of data are the um, bread and butter of the company, and losing it may uh, may bring liabilities or even reputation damage. Personally identifiable information, or PII, so as defined by the National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST. PII is defined as information which can be used to distinguish or trace the identity of an individual. PII has different types such as personal data, sensitive, or even privileged personal information. Although these differences is a topic for another episode, and so simply put, any information that can be used to distinguish you, such as address, email, SSS number, is considered PII. And in most organizations, PIIs of both customers and employees are stored, processed, and used. This means that this information must be protected. According to the HIPAA journal, protected health information, or PHI, is defined as information that relates to the past, present, or future physical or mental health or condition of an individual, the provision of health care to an individual, and the like. It is composed of an identifier together with the health information. The health information, like discovery of diabetes, won't distinguish a person right away. But if it is mixed with an identifier such as date of birth, employer, or SSS number, then it is already considered PHI. And the third is proprietary data. As defined by the CISSP official study guide, proprietary data refers to any data that helps an organization maintain a competitive advantage. These can be patents or inventions, copyrights, and trade secrets. These proprietary data are protected by laws through different intellectual property statutes. At the same time, mature organizations have IT security and administrative policies in place to ensure that these data are protected, such as, for example, the implementation of data loss prevention to filter messages that go out of the organization, and um, requiring employees to sign an NDA so they won't spill any beans, even if they leave the organization for a different job. Okay, and remember, in proprietary data, if competitors are able to access it, it can seriously affect the primary mission of the organization. It may even close. For example, if the secret formula of KFC or Coca-Cola is suddenly exposed, then um, they they might run out of business. Data classification. For some organizations, they already have a data classification policy in place where users are required to label their files or documents depending on the sensitivity of the information. Different naming conventions are used, such as, for example, in the government, it uses top secret, secret, confidential, and unclassified labels. While for the private sector, it uses confidential or proprietary, private, sensitive, and public. All the organizations are not limited to these naming terms. If you will notice in the figure, terms used by the government have corresponding terms in the private. Like, for example, top secret is equivalent to confidential or proprietary label in the private. So, to simplify things, a generic class label is introduced. For instance, the bottom layer, the triangle, is class 0. It would refer to unclassified for government and public for the private sector, and so on. So, now let's go to the highest class, which is class 3. The classification refers to an impact that will result to exceptionally grave damage to the mission of the organization. So what is exceptionally grave damage? For example, when hackers and hacktivists hacked Sony, a lot of their upcoming movies were exposed publicly and shared to P2P sites. And because of this, there is a direct impact on business loss since supposed customers will be able to watch movies through download instead of the cinema. In class 2, a data breach would cause serious damage to the mission of the organization. Many organizations label PII and PHI data as private. An example would be payroll information. For class 1, there is still damage but not as big as class 3 and class 2. For example, company IP addresses and network layout are considered to be confidential or sensitive. If this information is exposed, there is no direct or upfront damage to the organization yet. And lastly, for class 0 or public, although an organization does not protect the confidentiality of public data, it does take steps to protect its integrity, like website content and press releases from the company. Data states. There are three data states: data at rest, data in transit or motion, and data in use. So, first, data at rest. This is where the information is stored in hard drives, file servers, databases, etc., or other storage devices. The second one is data in transit or in motion. So the information that travels through email, HTTP, instant messaging, or any type of public or private communication channel. And third is data in use, when the information is opened and consumed by an application or accessed by the user. So the example here is when you open it through the MS Office, Office apps, database access, cloud apps, and mobile apps. So in the next episode, we will discuss ways to protect data in all states. Handling information and assets. Physical or online labeling is the first layer of defense in your data classification. For example, physically labeling USBs through color coding or labeling the computer that it processes confidential information will help the organization locate these assets and at the same time prevent intentional or accidental breaches. Since the employees can see if an unauthorized person is accessing a sensitive computer or when a red color coded USB is found somewhere. Other techniques also involve digital watermarks, the use of header or footer in files, and even in emails, both for physical identification and for data loss prevention or DLP filtering. Lastly, similar to physical labeling, desktop background also helps label the type of information stored in the computer. Like if the desktop background is red, then it is top secret, orange if secret, and so on. So for further reading, you may check on the following. So the first one, 7 steps to effective data classification. So this reading is for those who are starting their data classification policy. Okay? This may be a good starting point. It will help you step by step on how to create and implement data classification. The second one, protecting the 3 states of data, is an article on protecting different states using technical security. This may be a good basis for your IRR or implementing rules and regulations of your data classification policy. So the third one is guidelines for data classification. Okay, so it's a sample data classification guide documentation that you can use as a template from Carnegie Mellon University. And lastly, the fourth one, data classification access control policy. So this is another sample data classification guide, documentation in Word format, so you can just edit it and customize it based on your need. For more details, links are included in the description of the video. At the same time, creating and implementing data classification policy is available in detail in our Patreon account. So, in summary, we have discussed 4 topics. So, the first one is identifying, classifying assets. We also did discuss data classification, the data states, and handling information and assets. So for the next episode, we will continue our discussion on protecting security assets and we'll focus on protection and securing information.
I also run an IT security firm based in the Philippines called Cybersecurity Specialist. It aims to help small businesses be cybersecurity aware by providing workshops together with my peers on various aspects of cybersecurity. We also provide consulting services such as regulatory, administrative, and technical services. For more details, you may visit our website at www.pinedacybersecurity.com. Our goal of helping secure small businesses is accompanied by a recognition by the Philippine Department of Information and Communication Technology as a cybersecurity provider both for vulnerability assessment and penetration testing or VAPT and information security management system or ISMS. To learn more cybersecurity topics, you can subscribe and follow us in YouTube, Patreon, and Facebook. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye.